Roadshow this morning in The Buzz. Apparently, size does matter. Actor and director Kevin Smith... All right, sorry. Was ejected from his Southwest Airlines flight over the weekend by a pilot who says...
What are you laughing at?
By a pilot who says he didn't fit properly in his seat. Well, Southwest says its customer of size policy requires travelers have to be able to fit safely and comfortably into one seat or make other arrangements. Now, upset over the incident, Smith took to his Twitter page saying, "I'm fat, I'm way fat, but I'm not there just yet." After a flurry of backlash from Kevin Smith fans, Southwest issued an apology from their own Twitter account and then called the actor, offering him a $100 credit. Interestingly, both Smith and the airline acknowledged that he had bought 2 seats for his original flight, but he ended up as a standby passenger in order to catch an earlier flight, and there was only one available. Smith insisted that he was still able to put both armrests down and buckle his seatbelt, which is Southwest standard. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I don't get. If he can put the armrest down, if he's not on top of other people, and he can still buckle his seatbelt, what seems to be the problem?
Well, here's my question. Why was he put on standby? Did he put himself on standby?
I don't know.
Did he volunteer to go on standby? Number one.
He does normally buy 2 seats, though.
Right.
So I guess we don't know if he does that,
Number two, he eventually made it to Burbank on Southwest after he got booted off this original flight. But it's not clear from what we've all read as to how he made it.
Yeah. Well, it's possible that they put him on another flight that did have 2 seats.
Yeah, and maybe that's possible. I mean, I don't know, you know. I mean, listen, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I think we've all sat next to some people who have been, who have been extremely overweight, and it has been extremely uncomfortable for those who sit next to them to try to be comfortable, who pay the same amount of money for a ticket. And I understand that those, people who are obese have rights, and that's fine, but,
I've been on flights where there have been screaming babies, too, or people are munching on their food, or they,
People haven't showered. There's a lot of ways to make
But I think the main issue is safety, to me. Yeah. And I know there have been situations where, people have been asked to move from the back of a plane to the center of a plane or to use 2 seats. I do know that it tends to be policy of the airline that if you have bought 1 seat, but then there's some free space, and they can put you on a flight that has 2 seats, that they'll go ahead and do that. So
I don't understand why the airlines haven't gone ahead and made a special section for people who are obese.
I wonder,
and charge them maybe a little extra more to sit in those seats, to be a bit more comfortable.
Retrofit the airplane,
absolutely,
that sort of thing. Mm-hmm.
and not be in the way of other people.
Well,
I don't understand why you can't do that.
Here's what I didn't understand is he got on the plane, he passed through the security, passed through the woman at the front, finally got on the plane, buckled his seat, and then he has to go through the embarrassment of literally being pulled off the plane.
I can't even imagine.
There's some way, I don't know if it's on the website that has specifics or whatnot, where they can save somebody that embarrassment. That's what it comes down to.
Okay, but
fortunately, again, he's a comedian, so he kind of took it with a grain of salt.
Well, but also there's 2 sides to every story. Okay, I mean, just because Kevin Smith tweets and says what he says doesn't necessarily mean that we should take that as the gospel and that's the absolute truth. By the same token, we shouldn't necessarily believe Southwest and everything that they say. I just don't understand. I would like a clarification when they said for the safety of the plane.
Right.
What does that mean?
Or for his safety. Clearly, if you can't buckle your seatbelt, that's going to be a safety issue. But
you've talked about it earlier, and I never even thought about this, but it's happened. There are some times where there is someone who is so obese that you can't let them on the plane because it literally throws off
the weight concerns,
of taking off and landing on a plane.
The other thing, though, is the average size of Americans is expanding, and so how do we keep safety in mind while still being conscious of the fact that this can be a very embarrassing situation, like you said, Ben?
But when the airlines are doing the absolute opposite, they're flying less flights, and they're making the chairs smaller to try to get more people in. So, how do you reconcile that?
Yep. Courtney, I want to throw it over to you because I know this morning on the live blog we are all abuzz on this topic.
I find it interesting that it was the pilot who had asked him to leave the plane. I wonder if maybe there's something they can do when they get their ticket scanned. Maybe they can, I don't know, make other arrangements then. So we're talking about that now on the live blog on foxprovidence.com. Here's a look at what some of our friends of the road show are saying. This one's from Smoky Wolves, and she says, I'm sorry, this is just not fair to people who want to fly that are heavy, but now they will wonder if they will get kicked off the airplane at any point. I think those people from Southwest should rethink their rules. And this one's from Nick. He says, I don't think that they should remove a person from a flight, especially if they already paid the price. I'm sorry, but that's just not right. Here's a look at the poll that's on our homepage right now. Should an airline be able to remove passengers on a flight due to their weight? Your choices are A, yes, if they pose some kind of hazard, or B, no, it should be handled before boarding. So you guys can weigh in on that. I've also posted the story about Kevin Smith on there. If you want to read more about what Southwest and what Kevin Smith had to say, here's a look at Facebook. We've got a few comments so far, and Corey Freitas says, I don't understand why the airlines do this. Unless the person cannot physically fit in a seat at all, then why can't they fly? So it's raising a lot of questions. Maybe Southwest will clarify some of their rules so folks understand this better. But I'll be back at the end of the show with your poll results to see what you guys think about today's buzz. But we're going to head to the kitchen. Vince, what's